Welcome back, everyone. Today we'll be discussing the Yeezy 350 Onyx. Specifically, we'll be discussing whether you should sell or hold the Yeezy 350 Onyx and why that is. To preface this, if you guys enjoy these types of videos regarding the market, reselling, and even info on how to acquire these limited products, be sure to subscribe and enable post notifications. This way you're always 100% updated. Furthermore, for more urgent updates like the recent shock drops, follow my Twitter, KeithAdam10, and also personals for you. And of course, for early information before those shock drops actually occur, make sure to follow Endurance's Twitter for updates on the next restock. For those who don't know, the Yeezy 350 Onyx releases on June 20th, tomorrow. Retail will be $230, like all recent 350s. Since this is an Adidas product and not Nike, I cannot confirm the exact stock myself, but based on prior Yeezy supply and Adidas exclusive Yeezy 350s, these still shouldn't be anything special in terms of exclusivity. In fact, some overseas retailers are even already getting these as well, so they're not completely Yeezy supply and Adidas exclusive, but that's besides the point. In order to determine if the Yeezy 350 Onyx will be a fruitful hold, we will cover an estimated range of what the sneaker will settle at after the drop, and also when shipments come in, essentially all the pairs going into circulation, whether they're expected to increase post-drop or even hypothetically decrease, along with how much specifically over specific periods of time, and finally, what type of margin are we looking at for these in terms of holding. Not the retail to resell initial margin, but rather just the hold margin over X period of time. Basically, even if these do go up, are they still going to be worth your time or not? Kicking it off, let's discuss the estimated range that these should be settling at. To begin with, as I mentioned earlier, I'm expecting stock on these to be similar to other Yeezy 350s, whether they were Adidas and Yeezy Supply exclusive or not. In other words, relatively high stock still, but again, it is Adidas, so I can't confirm this to be 100%. As for demand, typically all black Yeezy 350s have higher demand than most colorways, but the current bids definitely don't look too impressive, especially since there's hardly any in circulation right now since no corporate retailers received these. So I definitely would have expected something a little bit better than what I'm seeing right now. Sale volume is typically very high on 350s, and it is high on these, but certainly not anything too notable. I don't believe the issue is the lack of pairs in circulation when it comes to these, since the current pre-sale isn't even that crazy either, so it seems to just be average demand, nothing special, despite it being an all-black 350. Hence, I'm still expecting these to remain profitable, but with a poor margin if you have tax, and a subpar margin if you don't have tax. Now, regarding a specific range, prices have already seen the vast majority of their pre-drop decrease since this is the night before the drop. This leaves the current pre-drop average at about $303 for sizes 4 to 12, but of course, this is only the pre-drop average, and that's temporary. Remember, we do not include sizes like 12.5 and up, since those tend to be outliers and they will throw off the mean. We normally see a notable change post-US drop. This is when we normally experience what I like to refer to as the impulsivity effect. You guys should know what I'm referring to by now, as we discuss this very frequently, yet it almost still always occurs to some degree. Regarding the impulsivity effect, if you haven't watched my seller hold videos before, sneaker drops specifically impact human impulsiveness significantly after an individual fails to acquire that desired product due to insufficient supply and too much demand. Therefore, on average, we normally see about a 5 to 10% increase of the pre-drop prices post-drop. Now, that 5 to 10% isn't always the case, such as when a sneaker is already slightly overvalued. A good example was the recent Jordan 4 Infrared, which played out exactly as expected, with a minor drop in value post-drop and then the average drop in value as shipments went out. I believe these Yeezy 350 Onyx are in a similar position, but for a different reason. The reason being that I believe that the current prices are a bit inflated since there are hardly any in circulation right now due to the fact that no corporate retailers are receiving these early, like there's no Flex app reservation such as we've seen on many other types of Yeezy 350s in the past. Hence, I am expecting a negative impulsivity effect on these Onyx of about 5% post-drop, bringing the potential average to $288 post-drop. They might even get a little bit lower than that prior to all Adidas confirmed winners going out, but after that raffle does completely end, they do usually tend to go up again a little bit, but I do still believe they should eventually settle around that $288 average after that is completely over with. Now, let's discuss what prices will look like once the shipments go out in that 1 to 2 week range. During this period, the vast majority of pairs will be going into circulation. I wouldn't expect anything different than what we saw on most high stock Yeezy 350s recently, hence I'd expect the typical 10% post-shipment decrease on these. Therefore, with a 10% decrease, hypothetically, we may see the average of sizes 4 to 12 dip to around $259 after all shipments go out within that 1 to 2 week period. Now that the average price ranges at those points in time are evident though, let's discuss whether they're expected to increase from that post-shipment shipment trough or even hypothetically continue to decrease. When it comes to these Yeezy 350 Onyx, I feel two pretty useful comparisons would be the Yeezy 350 Cinder and the more recent Yeezy 350 Mono Cinder. First, looking at the recent Yeezy 350 Mono Cinder, which released almost exactly 1 year ago today, these actually didn't increase at all. If anything, they decreased from their post-drop value by a very minor amount, so evidently these were not an ideal hold. Granted, the translucent upper may have played a part in this. Looking at the Yeezy 350 Cinder from 2020 on the other hand, we actually saw a rather quick increase and a pretty good one too. Long term though, they have not changed too much, but they did see their initial increase nonetheless. Given that these Onyx are not translucent, I'd have to say that they're more comparable to the Cinder from 2020, and they might even be more desirable considering they're all black rather than having that brown on the bottom and the back. But I also don't know what the stock discrepancies were, which could definitely be a big factor, and that's a problem when deciding on these Adidas products. Given that this is an all black Yeezy though, I'd have to give them the benefit of the doubt and still expect them to increase, although most likely not as quick as the Cinder pair did, since 2020 in general was a year with a lot of inflated prices for reasons mentioned in the video that you're seeing on the screen right now if you're interested in knowing more about that. Finally, regarding the hold margin on these, essentially, are these actually going to be worth your time even if they do end up increasing? In the most ideal situation, these could potentially increase just like the Cinders from 2020 did, allowing for about a 35% ROI within 1 year. Not only is that just slightly above average for a hold, but I'm not optimistic on these Onyx given that the stock discrepancy is unknown and the economic conditions overall are definitely not ideal right now. So long term, there isn't anything too notable when it comes to these, not to mention Yeezys are also always at risk of being randomly restocked, hence I have rated these a 4.5 out of 10 hold, but if they end up hitting a post-shipment trough lower than 250, I definitely increase this rating by a point, making them above average since there is much more room for a better ROI. Of course, we will see how it plays out tomorrow though. As of now, I don't see anything special with these, despite them being an all-black Yeezy. Personally, I will be quick selling all of my pairs for lunch money, but I might keep a personal pair. Also, just a note in general, for anyone considering holding any items who do have low capital, you should never hold anything in general if you don't have sufficient capital to go for as many drops as possible at your full potential without holding back. If you do need money to go for all drops, try to sell these as soon as possible. Let me know what you guys are doing with your pairs down in the comments below, since this is a discussion at the end of the day. I can't predict the future. That's just my personal analysis based on the data that I've acknowledged. We have a lot of brilliant minds watching the video right now, so I implore you to leave your notions down in the comments below. But anyway, that will conclude it for today. You can feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed, or perhaps if you learned a thing or two. Subscribe and enable post notifications. This way you stay 100% updated on all hyped releases. Also, feel free to check out the links in the description below for reliable, fast, residential proxies. Furthermore, feel free to follow Endurance's Twitter for updates on restocks or key giveaways. And the same goes for Gargantua if you want to keep up with the progress or restocks. Last but not least, make sure to follow Keith Adam 10 and Personals for you. This way you guys stay updated on all urgent info like I was discussing today. With that though, I'll see you guys later. Have a fantastic rest of your day.